What's the deep state behind the deep state?
The deep state loves to manufacture enemies. Did one of them just try to assassinate Donald Trump?
How does this tie in with a coming global government outlined in the Bible?
Now they're faced with a very real prospect of Donald Trump becoming the leader of the party, and it absolutely drives them crazy. They just cannot imagine sharing. Well, because he's an outsider. He's not them. He's not part of the club. He's uncontrollable. He hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society. And I think that they don't see him. They have no idea how to relate to him.
Newt Gingrich is absolutely right. That is why they hate Trump. He's not part of their cabal. The deep state hates Donald Trump. They have been openly bragging about the deep state taking out Donald Trump. They brag about how they kill people, they murder people based on their metadata. They brag about the intelligence community having 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. And just like Roger Stone said in that 2017 interview that we talked about in last week's show, they had the objective of taking out Donald Trump at all costs. And Plan A, he said, was the Russia collusion hoax. That fell apart. Plan B was the 25th Amendment hoax. That fell apart too. Plan C, Roger Stone said, was for the deep state to assassinate him, to do what was done to John F. Kennedy, what they tried to do to Ronald Reagan. We need to recognize that, folks. We are not being told the truth. They had a motive, right? And as a criminal investigator, the first thing you look for, who had a motive to take him out? Some 20-year-old punk kid? Maybe. I don't believe for 1 second, though, that he outsmarted the most sophisticated protection agency in the world. What we're watching now is the deliberate destruction of the American middle class and the deliberate destruction of the American economy. Ultimately, if these evildoers get their way, it's going to result in the deliberate destruction of the United States of America. We're talking about the controlled demolition of our economy, our military might, and everything that we hold dear. During the Trump administration, they had Rich Higgins on the National Security Council put together the Higgins Memo. People should read this. He talked about this global alliance of globalists, communists, socialists, Islamists, who are all working in unison for the goal of destroying the United States of America, not just as a nation, he says, but even as an ideal. And so they want to shift global power over to communist China, over to the United Nations, etc., and gradually and then suddenly destroy the United States. And they don't want to just destroy our country. They want to even discredit the ideas and principles that it's founded upon because they're simply not compatible with this one world system. What they mean by New World Order, George Soros told us what this New World Order was going to look like 10 years ago. He did an interview with the Financial Times. He said, we need communist China to own the New World Order in the same way that the United States owns the current one. So we're watching here a deliberate process whereby the formerly free, developed, prosperous, Christian-style nations are being deliberately demolished so that power, economic, military, diplomatic, etc., can be shifted over to the authoritarian regimes like Communist China, which really is the model for the one world system. Now, these people are not stupid. We know, obviously, Joe Biden is on the payroll. The Congress has already released documents proving that the Biden family is on the CCP payroll. But really, it's much bigger than that, right? Henry Kissinger, probably him and his boss, the Rockefeller clan, probably did more than anybody to build up communist China into the threat that it is today. But Obama and Joe Biden and many, many others at the highest levels have been helping this process along to the point where you have Klaus Schwab this summer going on communist Chinese television saying that communist China is a role model for many countries. So this is a very, very dangerous agenda. And you're right. Americans can't focus on this stuff because they're so busy trying to feed their family. They're so busy trying to keep up with the entertainment and all the rest of it. People don't have time. And it's very difficult now to find this stuff. The UN's bragging that they have a partnership with Google to silence people like you and I, Greg, who are telling the truth about this climate stuff. And so it's getting very, very difficult for Americans. It's going to get much more difficult if we don't stop this fraud.
Alex Newman is an award-winning international journalist, educator, author, speaker, nationally syndicated radio host, consultant. He currently serves as contributor to the Epoch Times, correspondent for Law Enforcement Intelligence, Brief, foreign correspondent, and senior editor of The New American. I could go on and on. You have seen him on Fox, Newsmax, One American News, The Blaze. We carry in my online store his book, Deep State, The Invisible Government Behind the Scenes.
This man behind me just tried to assassinate Donald Trump. His name is Ryan Wesley Ruth. He was trying to take Trump out while he was golfing. Secret Service spotted a barrel sticking out of a bush. Then the Secret Service agents engaged, leading Ruth to flee the scene. He was subsequently apprehended by law enforcement in Martin County after a witness provided details of his vehicle, which was tracked down using a license plate reader. At the scene where Ruth was hiding, authorities recovered the rifle, 2 backpacks containing ceramic tiles, possibly for bulletproofing, and a GoPro camera, suggesting he intended to document the event. Oh, and I didn't mention that he's donated to Democrats 19 times since 2019. And if you look here, you're going to see Facebook wipe his account live. Why is Facebook wiping his account? Why can't we go see what he's been posting? Also, rewind this and look, you can see he's from Hawaii. But again, why is Facebook wiping his account? Oh, he's also been very obsessed with the Russia-Ukraine war. Ask yourself, what has this man seen? What is he believing where he thinks the necessary thing to do is to go assassinate Donald Trump? What convinced him that that is the right thing to do? Think about that. I have a good idea of what it is.
The deep state's agenda is globalism, traditionally defined, undermining the nation state, moving us toward a one world system, ultimately an evil one world system. So when you get to the very high levels of power, political, economic, even ecclesiastical, you do have, I think, a very strong unity of purpose in this effort to shift us toward this new world order, which is globalist in nature.
Okay.
And by globalist, again, we're talking global system.